Hi folks, Pete here from Ashton's Cars. Today we're looking around a 2010 Honda Civic. It's the 1.8 SE model, about middle of the range on the Civics, and they come with a nice spec and a great 1.8 litre petrol engine, which is a I-Vtec unit. So a lot of people in this sort of job ask me, what car should I buy? What car do you recommend? And I think if you ask pretty much anyone in the car trade, they're going to tell you buy a Honda, because the most important thing for us, if we're recommending a friend or a family member to buy a car, is to buy one or to recommend one that's got the best reliability record, just so as they're not sort of chasing us in 6 months time saying, oh, you bought me that car and this has gone wrong, that has gone wrong. Well, the fact of the matter is, if you buy a Honda, especially a petrol one, there's very little that will go wrong in my experience. And I speak that from personal experience, because my own family car is a 8-year-old Honda CR-V diesel. It's a great car. Obviously that one's a diesel, but again, they're pretty robust. I would say the only thing better than a Honda diesel is a Honda petrol, because these 1.8 VTEC units are absolutely unbeatable. So the car I've got before me is 12 years old, nearly. It's done 91,000 miles. It's been looked after by its previous owners really well. You can see by the condition of it and the shine on the paintwork that it's been someone's pride and joy. And it's absolutely brilliant to drive. I really can't say enough good things about these cars, because I think they look pretty cool with the sort of space age design, the mad door handles, which look like they should be on an American fridge, and the hidden door handles at the rear. And they've also got a pretty wild digital dashboard as well. So they're a really good looking car, but they're also so reliable. So they kind of combine having something that's stylish with something that's absolutely as sensible as they can be. So as you can see, I'm taking you around this one. Twin exhaust at the back, there's triangular twin tailpipes on this model, being the 1.8. It is one of the more powerful engines in the range, unless you go up to the sort of fire breathing Type R models. The 1.8 litres have got a fair punch to them, in fairness. It's a car that's pretty much the same size as a Ford Focus, Volkswagen Golf. So they do a 1.4, 1.6, this 1.8, and then obviously you've got the 2 litre Type R, which is an absolute track animal. But this car of the regular range is one of the more powerful motors, and it does feel really good on the road. You've got plenty of power through the gears. You know, overtaking's no problem at all in this car. And because it is a VTEC unit, well, it might not be the twin VTEC in the VTR, in the Type R, it's still got a fair punch as the revs rise. It's still got a notable change in the way the engine sounds as its cam profile changes and the revs rise. Really is quite a nice car as a driver's car, to be honest with you. If you want in something that is sensible to look at, practical, because there's loads of room inside, I'll show you that in a minute, and just good to drive, I don't think you can go far wrong with these. They are, in all honesty, a very underrated car in my opinion. I'm just going to scan out there so you can get the whole thing in. It looks pretty cool, it looks pretty neat, and it doesn't look 12 years old, most importantly. I think that this car's aged very well. The door handles, well, they're like a work of art on their own. You squeeze this bit here to open the door. As you can see, it's clean and tidy inside as well, this particular car. 91,000 miles on the clock, but who would tell? There's barely any wear in the seats, little bit of tiny wear there on the bolster, but not ripped or sort of sagging really at all. Nice leather trim steering wheel. Obviously, being one of the higher spec SE models, it's got a reasonable spec in it. It's got air conditioning, it's got electric windows front and rear, and electric mirrors in it, this car. And it's a 6-speed manual gearbox, which is a joy to use. It's nice and easy to drive, nice and easy to use. We'll jump in here in a second and start it up, but just before it starts chucking it down with rain, which it looks like it's going to any second, I want to show you the back. Good bit of size in them. The thing I love on Honda, they've got a relatively flat floor, so even if you've got an adult sitting in the centre of this car, there's actually a fair bit of room for them. There is also a nice pull-down armrest here, which has got some cup holders in it, which will keep the kids happy on longer journeys, I dare say. Again, it has got the rear electric windows as well, but you can shut them off at the front if you have got younger children. And obviously it's got sort of door locks as well for the rear as well, child safety locks for the rear doors if you've got kids. There are ISOFIX anchoring points in here if you have got baby seats as well. So that's another neat feature on the Honda. The main thing for me is that by having that flat floor, you do gain quite a bit of space inside the car. And if you do want to carry larger items, one little switch here on the seat folds the whole thing completely flat into the floor like that, which is really great and easy to use. Now let's have a look at the boot. You can see from here how much room there is with that seat down. I've only put the one side down at the minute because I want you to have an idea of how big the boot is with the seats up as well. I can actually make the boot slightly bigger again by folding this down. Let me just do it like that. You find then the bit that the valeter missed, and you get a little bit more space again in the car. So on size, there is more room in this than there is in a Golf. There is more room than this than there is in a Ford Focus, and I think pretty much anything in that class. So plenty of space here, and also look, neat latching points on the back of those rear seats as well. So on a practical note, as well as on a sort of design note, I would say the Honda trumps the competition. See, latching point, more sort of latching points and straps to put your odds and ends in. Very, very practical space this, very usable. No, it doesn't have a spare wheel before you ask. That's why the boots are so big on them. But that's pretty much the case for all cars these days. So, rear park sensors on this one as well, just to point out. So we have got a little bit of assistance when we're manoeuvring into a tight spot. Let's just jump inside. So, here we are in the wheel, behind the wheel of the Honda. I suppose those rear parking sensors, for my mind, on these cars are very well worth having. I would say the only minor drawback on these cars is the rear visibility is slightly compromised, look, by the fact that it's got that split screen at the back. But by having the rear parking sensors, it doesn't really present any problem whatsoever. To start the car, you turn the key first off. But instead of turning it again to fire her up, we've actually got a start button by here. Very space age, and that's the thing. There's a lot of neat little features like that in this Honda, which kind of make it feel a little bit futuristic, certainly for a car that's nearly 12 years old. So 6-speed manual box on the car. Nice clear, although it's very space age looking, it's very easy to use. We've got heat in there, we've got a fan there, and we can just change direction by pressing mode, and it's all displayed on that center display there. So it's very easy to use the controls, as is the stereo. It's well laid out, and I've also got stereo controls on my steering wheel. I've also got a trip computer, which tells me that I've got 98 miles of fuel left in the car, and that the car's averaging around here about 35 to the gallon. But don't pay too much attention to that 35 to the gallon, because the car's just come back from a valeter's who he's had it running on his driveway with the heaters on to dry the interior after he's cleaned it. It probably on this engine would be getting closer to 40 miles per gallon on average, which for a petrol 1.8 litre is very, very good. I've got cup holders here. There was a little bit that goes in the middle of this. Let me pull it out for you. There. So there's little cup holders by here, which are quite neat. I've got a little armrest as well by here as well, which you can fold up, and there's a bit more space inside it for odds and sods, including the locking wheel nuts. And we've got some charging sockets and auxiliary sockets in there for the stereo. Overall, I love these cars. I find them really good to drive. I find them very spacious inside. I've actually got a seat back much further than I need it right now, and there's still plenty of room in the rear of it. So if you're looking for something family orientated but a little bit cooler than your average Ford Focus or Vauxhall Astra, buy a Honda. And also, if you want reliability, and if you want my advice on which car to buy a Honda. Every time. Every single time. You won't be disappointed. So I find it quite frustrating when I tell people to go and buy a Honda and then they turn up in a Vauxhall Astra a couple of weeks later, and then lo and behold, a couple of months later, it's got an electrical fault. So I'm telling you right here now on the channel, if you're looking for something in this sort of price range, under £5,000, that's going to be reliable, economical, cheap to maintain, Not going to let you down on the side of the road. This is the one to buy. And if you're interested in it, give me a call. It's 07932 873 646. Please give us a like. Please subscribe to our channel. Please feel free to comment below as well, because I'd love to hear any stories you've got of these Hondas. I personally find them really good. I've been in this job for well over 20 years now, so I've got plenty of experience with every make and model of car, and you just know that certain ones are better than others in terms of reliability. To my mind, these are the best. But let me know your own experiences, let me know your own thoughts on that. And as I say, my number one more time, if you are interested in getting in touch on this particular car, is 07932 873 646. Thanks ever so much for watching. It's managed to stay dry for us as well, which is great. But I'm going to go now, part this up and have a coffee. And I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.